Mate, back. Morning, mate.
Hey, mate, morning.
It's good, brother.
We're live.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Grange TV. We have with us again David Roberts, TAFE extraordinaire, Matt Lodge, Robert Whittaker, and we also have in the background lurking like Zorro, Mr. Gerald. How do I say your surname? Yao Yi. Can we get a cameo with him, Dave? With him behind you? Is he behind you?
I don't.
Oh, you don't have a camera. Okay.
I'll go behind Matt.
Go. Come
Yeah.
over, you big fella.
He's hand David.
Media manager.
Yeah. He is the Broncos media guy?
Content producer.
Nobody in media.
Content producer. So we have there him and David are looking at the sound and I don't know what they're doing. So how's things, gentlemen? What's going on?
Yeah, good. It's a day off today, so relax a bit and come and chat to you guys. Thanks for having me in to talk.
No, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for coming.
So you now this year you're with the Broncos. Is this your first or second year with the Broncos?
Yeah, it's me. Second year with the Broncos. So last year was my first year here, and this is the second one.
How's your rugby league going? How's your football going?
Yeah, it's going good. Last year was my first year back after a while off, so took a little bit to get going, but probably hit the ground running better this year. A few games under my belt last year, and it's been a lot easier than the first year.
You're from Southwest Sydney originally?
Nah, West Sydney, like Blacktown.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
around there. So grew up there and from out that way.
All right. Who'd you play your junior football with?
I played at a club, St. Pat's Blacktown. So I was still, all my mates are still playing out there, and I get back there as often as I can to catch up with them. And family's pretty involved with the club, so that's where I grew up playing.
Did you played for the Australian Schoolboys Kangaroos team?
Yeah, I played that in Year 12 and the Junior Kangaroos. But I come up through Penrith Panthers when I was a kid, and then from Year 12, from that Australian Schoolboys tour, I signed down in Melbourne Storm.
Oh, so you went to Melbourne first?
Yeah, I went there when I was 17 and 18, but probably a bit younger. I got a bit homesick, so I come back to Sydney after a year and a half, joined the Tigers. I had a couple of years there and then had a bit of a stint off. Now I ended up at Brisbane, been around a bit.
I think a lot of young players have that thing where they travel and get signed to a team interstate, and then they start to feel a little homesick and like it really starts to affect them and impact their game, and then they end up going home. Like did you feel that like the homesickness was affecting your performance and things like that?
Yeah, I think it was definitely an age thing. Like I'm away from home now and I miss home, but I know how to handle it. But when I first went down to Melbourne, I was straight from Year 12. I think I had to miss schoolies that year, and I was that was a big one for me.
We all got the sacrifice, man.
Yeah, at the time was a big deal. But no, I think just being away at that age, just missing little things like mates' birthdays, and then I got an injury and I was kind of isolated a bit down there by myself. And I don't know why, but you just miss home. But as I've got a bit older, I'm pretty comfortable up here away from home now in Brisbane.
How old are you now?
23.
Oh, so you're still
now.
really young. Like Rob, when you travelled, you went to you back in the day used to travel to Montreal, even to Thailand for some camps. What's that like with the travelling for you?
Like when I was doing it,
Yeah,
it was terrible.
like you got very homesick.
I got super homesick, and like the people that I had around me, like Sophia was my girlfriend at the time, and like my dad and mum, who like we all lived in
Sophia
Sydney.
was his girlfriend at the time, but just is his wife now.
Yeah.
Just
Did
I
I say
just
that?
clear that.
in.
You said that the wrong way.
Dude,
I thought I was talking.
oh my god, I butcher this every time, man. I get
Sophia, you are his wife.
let me get
All right, we
tore
don't.
up.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I'm helping you. Aren't I helping him? I didn't. I could have just left it.
You pointed it out, and
No,
it just made it way worse.
I thought it sounded like an ex-missus.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Nah, so you don't want Sophia sitting at home thinking she's your ex. You know, that's. Anyways, go on.
I can't. I made a mess of it, man.
So Sophia, who was your girlfriend at the time, yeah.
No, the traveling was just so much for me mentally. It was so hard for me to stay switched on over there, and and just to keep my eye on the prize and just, I don't know. I also like after a while, because you're training all the time and you don't have any normal comforts around you, you start to get down. Or I do anyway. And like I started getting down over there, and I started getting depressed, and then which directly related to how I was performing at the sessions, and then it's like reach a point where I finally make the fight. Like I've done all that time, and then I go to the fight, and the only thing I'm really thinking about is after this I get to go home.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, like at the time I was thinking, like when I decided to stop it all, I was thinking that can't be where my head is on game day, more or less.
Yeah, I think it's probably similar, but I reckon it'll be a bit harder in fighting because I guess when we're living away from home, at least you get to play every week. And then I started getting more homesick and down and a bit depressed when I got injured because I didn't have, I wasn't playing, so you're just coming in and training, and that's where fighting I think will be a bit harder because the camp's so long as compared to we get to play every week, and that makes you feel good about living away from home. So I think there's a big problem with the younger people when they move away, when they get injured and stuff, and that's where a bit of depression comes, or they've had some like past suicides in the game and stuff like that, and that's just from not having that support around when you're not playing or injured or.
Lately, that's because just working, I worked with some football teams in the last probably 6-7 years, and I have friends that work in the football thing. There's been a lot of those suicides and whatnot with the younger players. And sorry, what are some of the things that you might attribute that to?
Yeah, I lost a mate from it, but I think maybe when you do move away from home and it's such a competitive environment, an injury or something like that kind of isolates you from the main group, or you don't have that game every week makes you feel good, and you get your adrenaline, why you're down there training, so that kind of might isolate you away from everything else, and you fall into that little rut. But especially long-term injuries, I think, like doing an ACL or something like that, it's such a long recovery, you might as well not even be with the team that year, so it's hard to get yourself away from footy and hang out with friends and family or something when you don't have them around you.
I imagine it would be hard to feel like you're a part of the team when you're not playing every week, because you're not going through the trials and obstacles that they are week in, week out. They're all talking about, how hard was that game, and then you're on the sideline kind of being like, it looked hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Even the meetings and that, you stop going to your team meetings and review and stuff like that. You almost end up on a different schedule, and I guess that's where the club and players have to be good at making everyone feel a part of it, so they don't get isolated. But it definitely happens. I think your
brain's still developing, like well into your 20s, like in 25, 26. So you're a young guy. We were speaking with Anthony and Paul earlier, where you think this is what life's going to be, A, B, C, and D, and then it isn't. In that would hit you like a ton of bricks too. I think being away from home and whatnot.
Yeah, well, my experience was I kind of went the other way. I was down in Melbourne, got injuries, got a bit isolated, couldn't just switch off and go see me friends and go for dinner or family. So just probably ended up drinking a bit too much, drinking and going out and stuff like that. But that was the wrong decision at the time. But that's the option a lot of people take when they feel like that, or they get isolated, and that's where you probably have to be better and making them feel a part of the team or something. So what do you feel is like the support around that mental health? Because like people misdiagnose or they say mental health, mental illness. We all got mental health. It's just like you might be in bad state of mental health at that particular state or whatnot. But how much do you think there's people are aware of mental health in rugby league? I think it's getting a lot better, like it had to from a couple of things that happened, but it's getting a lot better. We've got our welfare people and they check up and everyone's aware of it and talks now, and it's just getting bigger in the community, which is a good thing. I'm a big advocate for it, but it's definitely picking up in rugby league, and everyone's seeing how you're going. The coaches drive it now, make sure everyone's feeling good, and it's pretty important. Even if someone's in that mind state, not only are they going to be unhappy, but they're probably not going to play well. So it's important all around that everyone's feeling good.
How many shots have you taken in your short career? Because you're still 22, 23. How many shots have you taken to the head? Bad ones, like where you've
touch wood. I've actually never got knocked out.
Never been knocked out.
Me since a kid. I don't know, got lucky a bit, but haven't.
And you're a giant. Like that fucking helps.
It helps being much bigger than everybody else.
I haven't got it knocked out. I hope it doesn't happen this week. Put the mock on myself, but I haven't ever been knocked out yet.
How but have you taken massive shots?
Yeah, I've taken some big shots, whiplash and that, but
your head rings and your
it rings a bit. It rings a bit. Some of the kickoff carries is the hard ones coming 100 mile an hour. Running
Those
with
are
some big boys.
hits,
How much do those hits hurt?
Yeah, they can get you. I run into a couple of people. They kind of rattle you. The force is big, but that's my job now. I'm pretty used to it.
Is there anybody in the game that when old mate gives you the ball off a kickoff, he's running straight at you? Like it's going to be a hard hit?
Yeah, there's a couple of people you can just tell the way they start running that they're not going to be changing direction. And I had a big collision on the weekend. One of the young fellas from Titans, it felt like hitting a rocker. He's just a little barrel, but put everything into it and just rung through the whole side of my body.
And it hurts you? It still hurts you?
That's what I feel it the next day in the game.
Imagine he hit me and it'll just fucking break me in half. Like
I think I said this yesterday. I'm pretty sure you would break every single bone, like a full skeletal break from the tip of your crown to your little toes.
Man, when I was in year 12, I tell this story because it's my only claim to fame in the rugby league world. When I was in year 12, Luke O'Donnell and his brother and his dad used to come and wrestle. Like his dad didn't wrestle, his dad used to bring his kid.
He's crazy, that fella.
Well, he was playing against me and he went to Westfields. Dave and I went to Ashcroft High School, and for fucking whatever reason, they put us in the same bracket. We didn't even have a team, and I don't know because I didn't play football, right? And I remember seeing that he was going to get the ball, and I thought he's going to get the ball. Like I thought, like I'm some genius that I read the play, and I ran out to tackle him, and this guy, he was like how he is like now, but in year 12. And he hit me, right? And my fucking head, right? I went like this, like, boom, my head hit the ground. And he ran over me, but tripped. And everyone was like, oh, fuck, that was a
shot.
Good tackle, Fab. And I got up, like, I wanted to cry, and I was disorientated. But not just cry, I wanted to cry and shit myself at the same time. And he doesn't even know, right? His brother used to come to training with us, right? I don't know if I said anything to him, but fuck, I can't. It cannot hurt you that much, because it hurt me. Like I can fucking feel the pain now.
Before you leave that story, did you wear headgear? You look like a headgear sort of
Nah, I didn't.
Shoulder pads.
I didn't wear anything. When I started
I
playing,
can picture you just being a smaller guy, just padded out. But
when I was like younger, because I didn't play football on the weekend. Actually, I played football on the weekend. When I got older, probably 18 years old, I played for Layla Park.
Oh, Layla, that's just around the corner from me.
Yeah, I played for them.
Kookaburras.
Yeah, for like 1 year. I was terrible. But I used to wear headgear when I was like in year 10 and torpedoes.
Torpedoes.
Yeah.
The quad protection.
gotta protect those thighs.
Yeah, it did fuck off. The shoulder pads, the fucking headgear. I wasn't wearing it that game. I just remember it like I honestly thought he broke my back. Like it was fucking bad. But it can't hurt that much, surely.
If it makes you feel better, I'd rather do 100 kickoff runs than get kicked or elbowed in the head.
Well, there you go. I don't know. You played football. What would you rather?
It's funny, eh?
Because like, that run on the.
But the thing is, like when you're in the game, you're kind of conditioned to it.
Yeah, we just thought so much. It changed. Just grew up doing it.
Yeah,
so
you guys are like in contact, like in that contact sport, like every day almost. And then the games, like you're just used to it. Like it seems absurd to me that they play on Sunday, have a game that like where boys are falling off the field, and then they're at training on Tuesday or something, or they're playing the next week, like that to me today seems absurd. But like when I was younger, it's like it's just kind of you adapt. Like your body changes to what it's to its environment, to its situation. But like nowadays, like there are certain injuries like in fighting that hurts. But I guess like if your job is to make run ups, like hit ups, then you get used to doing hit-ups.
Or you die.
Yeah, or you become a podcast
It's
host.
like those
So
school,
nice, mate.
those school carnivals where when you're a kid, you end up, I think it's something ridiculous. So you play 7 games in 2 days.
Round robins or
Imagine,
something.
yeah, round robin. So I couldn't imagine doing that now as an adult. But
Were you always a very big kid?
I was a bit fat around 14, and
But how heavy were you at 14?
I was probably I remember under 16s grand final, Parramatta versus Penrith. I was probably the smallest front row on the Penrith team.
Yeah,
That's some
but-
big Islanders around me.
But how,
Probably
you still weighed 100
90
kilos.
kilos, 16 something, 95.
Did you play with Bam Bam?
Nah, he's about 2 years older, but he was his same comp, so I used to watch him. We used to play before him, and I used to watch him play. I think I versed him once, maybe. He's a good player.
He was. Was a good player.
He's just so fast for his size. Like he's
He's got good feet, eh? He's got
yeah,
very,
he's not the
very good.
best. He's just, when he runs the ball, he's fast. So big and fast, and he's hard to tackle.
Fuck. Did you tackle him ever? Do you remember?
I think I've versed him once. He's a handful. Like he's that big, and he probably runs like a back. So
He looks thick. He looks.
he's so thick. He was even bigger in footy. He's just like
he was huge, eh? When he played with the Roosters, wasn't
yeah, he was massive and fast. It's like fat and fast is just the
Danger.
No, I'm not throwing stones. I'm a bit fatty too, but it's just
Danger.
it's danger. It's what he do. It's just force, pure force.
Oh,
But
no.
he could have been a real good player, but obviously he's doing good in UFC.
he? When did he stop playing?
I think he was in the 20s at Roosters, and then just give it up. It's obviously different for him in the team environment. I don't think he could have been his complete self without getting in trouble or doing the team values. So I think I've heard him say like the one-on-one training just suits him better. He can do what he wants and train how he wants, and yeah.
And how big were you when you debuted?
I was probably similar size. It was Tigers, I think 2014, about 115 kilos or something. So it was 18.
At 18, you were 115 kilos.
Yeah, I was 18. Probably, about the same size. Probably a couple of kilos heavier now.
On like we spoke before, and like obviously like there is an area of curiosity around it. You went and I guess I'll let you guide the conversation. You went through some incidents and issues that occurred in the last few years, and that derailed your rugby league career. Because I've spoken to people in rugby league, people much more knowledgeable than me, than the one fucking tackle I did, that are much more knowledgeable, said that you would have probably been playing for the Australian team and maybe Origin if these incidents hadn't have occurred, or if whatever had happened in your life or whatever. Do you want to shed some light on that?
Yeah, I don't usually talk to them, but I'm happy to talk to you guys because trustees and stuff like that. And I've seen how you work at training and similar, so I don't mind talking about it. But I'd probably myself have to disagree a little bit. Like I don't think I would have reached my potential if I didn't get in trouble. So that was a big thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like just throwing it away, to be honest. So behaviour's definitely changed. I don't drink and that now, and I train a lot more, and that's probably been a positive too come out of it. I don't think I was starting to play worse and worse just before I got in trouble. So
Okay.
it was a bad thing, but at the same time, it's kind of helped me get back on track. I'm just lucky it happened early.
What can you tell us about it?
I think it just from like young age, I started going like nightclubbing and that, like from 14 or 15, hung around some of the older boys. Andrew Feeder's one of my good mates, so he's a bit older than me. Used to kick around with them, and that was just what I'd done. But
And so you'd already established a pattern of drinking and whatnot.
yeah, from young age, that's just even in Blacktown. That's just all my mates. That's just a normal thing. So probably started that, and then I just stuck to that. That's all I knew. So I always got in a little bit of trouble from 16 and down in Melbourne. Just everything I got in trouble was related to drinking and just being a bit loose. And I found that it would always come after being upset or something like that. And I'd just go and have a drink and something bad would happen every time. I didn't drink often, but every time I did, something would happen and wake up. I remember
When
it.
you say something would happen, what would happen?
Oh, just anything, like, you can't do much in this sport, like urinating in public or this, or, you know what I mean, a fight at a party, could get arrested by police or this, just little things, or had an incident in King's Cross, like push a bouncer or something like that. But at the time I was just so young, 17, 18, and they just kept building up.
Did you get charged for those things?
Oh, a lot of them when I was younger, I didn't really. It's pretty hard to get charged when you're under 18 in this country. So I had a couple of warnings. But then when I did get older, I got one charge in King's Cross when I was at the Tigers, and that probably it's this once you get one. This is what I try to tell the younger boys here. Once you do one bad thing, the reputation sticks with you, and then people start judging. It's just easier and easier to get in trouble. So that led me to that big incident in America. I remember just before I went over, I just wanted to go to get away from everything because this wasn't going well, and just get me out of here, get me on a holiday with my mates. And I remember my footy manager telling me not to go. He just didn't feel right about it. And then pretty much got in trouble. I was in the country for 6 hours. We landed at 8 o'clock at night, and by the next morning I was, woke up in handcuffs. So.
Fuck. So you don't remember it?
No, I don't remember nothing. I got into the sleeping pills and that a bit as well, just because 2 clubs I got put on a drinking ban, so I wasn't allowed to drink. So I don't know who got me into it, but I have a couple of sleeping pills and Red Bull just to try and get an effect.
And what effect does that have?
Oh, dangerous, dangerous. That's what I'd rather someone drink than do that. You just lose memory, and it's almost like there's a big problem with it at the moment, especially in America. Like it's like you're sleepwalking. You don't know what's happening. But
I was going to say it would be like you're sleepwalking. Like
yeah, I know people that don't remember it and got in their car, written the car off, parked the car in the driveway, and woke up like they went to sleep that night. Like they don't remember nothing that happened.
So you drink, you would have sleeping pills and Red Bull, but it wouldn't be a stimulant effect. It would.
Nah, so it doesn't. I'm not sure exactly chemically what it does, but it just spins you out a bit. It's like sleepwalking, but you don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Do you like that feeling?
Nah, I didn't like it. It was just more. I was out in a group, and we had the culture where 20 people are going out. I'm not allowed to drink, but at that time when I was 18 or something, I wanted some sort of effect. You want to take drugs and that didn't seem like taking drugs. It was all legal, so you said to do that.
So the stigma around like you wouldn't take, I don't know, whatever drugs, like you wouldn't pop a pill because it was illegal.
It was illegal, and you get tested and stuff like that. So,
but you wouldn't pop hot with the sleeping tablets.
Nah, it's all legal, and that doctors can prescribe them. So I'll just say to the Tigers doctor or whatever, he's having a bit of trouble sleeping. Yeah, he's a script of these.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. They're cleaning it up a bit now. I think they test for it on that, but
it's very prevalent still with young guys.
I think it's getting a bit better now, but maybe 5 years ago it was pretty big. Like it's getting big.
And so when you got to the United States, you were there only for 6 hours before you got locked up.
Yeah, so I got the flight over there, and I just had a knee surgery. So on the flight I had about 6 sleeping pills. It was like a 20-hour flight. And then when I got there, I felt good. I thought they were out of my system, and just went for a normal night out on the beers. And then if you mix them two, like it's dead. It was honestly like a deadly mix. I nearly had to get stomach flushed out and this and on the drip and that.
And that was at the same time that the incident occurred?
Oh, that was the next morning. I didn't know anything that happened. I just was in a club with my mates, and then...
Oh, the thing had already happened?
So I went out, had the...
Wait, you landed?
Landed, went to the hotel, got me best jeans on, best shirt, and then went out to a bar for a few drinks. Obviously, the sleeping pills from the plane have, half-life or something like that, so I had about 6 or 7 of them. Got there, got changed, went out, and then the alcohol and the sleeping pills just...
And that was that night?
Yeah, that was that night. So I landed at 8 p.m, went out at 9 p.m.
And you woke up the next day in handcuffs?
Yeah, woke up.
So the incident occurred in those...
Yeah.
And I think a big thing, like you said, you had just gotten your knee surgery done.
Yeah, that's what I was going to pull out. But
yeah, you were already in like the dumps.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I've learnt that. I've always promised myself I'll never go and I don't drink as it is, but I think it's the worst idea to drink when you got some sort of emotion.
When you're down, yeah.
You know what I mean? Either too excited and you go and let loose, or
I think it's a misconception that a lot of people use is like they especially like guys in Sydney from like out west or even in different parts. Because I grew up in Housing Commission in Menai, and there's a big stigma. A big I don't know the word I'm trying to use, but there's a big thing about, okay, let's just go relax and have a couple drinks, or let's go and unwind and have a couple drinks. Like they associate drinking with unwinding, and then it becomes a thing where they can't unwind without it.
Yeah, it's a massive thing. Everyone in your area will be the same. Everyone from my area, even I didn't drink for 3 years or something, but I'd still everyone I'm around still drinking. So my dad, all my mates, stuff like that. I'm not going to stop them, but it was just
100%. And then
got to watch them or watch how they, and then you learn to see how they behave and that when they're on it, and then I think a lot of them want to give it up, but they can't. And once they get past that,
were you diagnosed with any mental health issue?
No, I never have been.
No anxiety, no anything, nothing?
No, I have got anxiety before, like just with little stuff or when stuff's not going right, but I haven't been diagnosed with anything.
No, but it might be something as simple as like anxiety related stuff, because like, when you're talking about people, they drink and blah, 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 a lot of that's like self-medication for anxiety, like a lot of people, when you drink to unwind at the end of the day or whatnot, it's like the anxiety of the whole day, and you're drinking at the end of the day.
It's pretty hard I feel it's pretty hard to find, like, it takes a while to learn what to do to unwind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without doing that, it's,
Well, you need to learn what's making it seem that you need to drink to unwind. Like, what's causing you to become stressed or anxious to the point where you think you need something to counteract the feelings.
That's what I've learned. It's still hard for me sometimes, I still get all the same feelings, but instead of going to drink, I've just learnt tools to do that make me feel better. Like going down to boxing and doing some sparring and stuff like that, it's one of them. I can always still get on edge the same as before, but I just know how to handle it.
I have another question going back to this. So you woke up, you're in handcuffs, but you don't know what occurred.
Nah, I still don't really. Nothing.
Were you in jail?
No, I woke up in hospital. It took like 24 hours to get all the substance out of my body. Not allowed to go until it's 0%.
And then you got charged.
Yeah.
And then, so you were like this young kid in the US.
Yeah.
And they said to you, "We're locking you up."
Yeah.
Did you get locked up?
Yeah, I got locked up. Yeah.
What was that like? How long were you locked up for?
I didn't really go into it too much, but I think it was a few weeks. But it was just I don't know, because I had no recollection of what happened. The original charge was just massive. I didn't know what happened. I got a legal aid over in America.
Fuck.
And this one thing that I seen, with me own eyes, how that not having money over there can really like screw you a bit, because
it's all done off the appeal thing as well.
Yeah. See, I won't go into it too much, but say I had a cellmate and they come in and said, you're gonna get you're facing 14 years if you go to court, if you get pled guilty, or we've done a deal, we just went and had lunch with the thing, you can take 3 years now. And you're weighing it up 14 or 3.
Yeah.
This is me legal aid. He's telling me to take 3. I didn't do it. You got to weigh that up. Or he's saying, the legal aid could say, you're not going to beat it. Then you go and take the 3 years. For once you're in the system, it's pretty hard to get out. So just stuff like that I've seen. But I was lucky enough to have some money saved from footy. And my dad flew over a couple of weeks later and bailed me out and got a lawyer. And, it didn't turn out nothing like what my legal aid said. I got a proper lawyer that cared about what the outcome, and, got off it.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I guess, just waking up with zero recollection of what you've done, and would just be terrifying.
It's the worst feeling of my life. That's what will motivate me to never I will never put myself in that state that I'm not in control of what I'm doing ever again. Just because of that feeling, I still remember it clear as that's a reminder.
Has it ever happened before where you, where you become blackout drunk and like the next day you wake up and your mates are messaging you going, "Can't believe you did that," or something like that, and it's just
I think there's just certain people that get like that, and I'm one of them, and it's happened to me heaps of times before. But probably got lucky with the outcome, or it could have been worse. Like I've had a friend that's been in that blackout drunk and, you know, killed someone with a one punch. Like, imagine you didn't get drunk, your life's completely different. It wouldn't happen. Like
no control,
no control, no nothing, no recollection. Just it's the worst to put your body in that state where you can't control what you're doing.
Can you, without, again, like not necessarily divulging details of the time, but I can't, like I think, let's say you're conscious of something you do, you're conscious of a crime that you commit. Like let's say right now, right here we go, I don't know, let's rob the payroll.
Yeah.
And we go ahead and we do it and you get caught. And me personally, I would be, for whatever reasons, a bunch of reasons, just having my freedom taken off me, I'd be scared of going to prison. But I'm conscious that I committed a crime.
Yeah.
If I black out or wake up and somebody says, look, ABC, this is all the shit you're charged with, and you're looking at 14 to 15 years, or take 3, and you're what, 20 at the time? 19 even, and you're in a foreign country.
Yeah.
What was like? Can you talk to us a little bit about just what you felt at the time?
Just to be fair, at the time I was probably, there's just no one to turn to. Can't call anyone because, you know, you can't ring an Australian number off an American paid jail phone. So just no one to talk to.
Just shit like that, like stuff that you're talking about like that. That's what kind of I'm asking, like, because like it'd fucking that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, at the time that's probably where I wasn't a religious person before that, but the only person that asks for help then is probably God. There's just the connection between you and something to give you hope to get you through it. So that was it. I was just crying a fair bit and just didn't know what to do, just staying awake. And yeah, it's a tough one, but
you couldn't call overseas. So
I didn't speak to anyone for like a few weeks. So
and you were just there, dealing with your emotions.
Yeah, just
dealing, I guess, with the impact of having your life so drastically changed at that point, but without you remembering a single thing. It's like tomorrow you go into jail and you're like, what for? And like, you did this, and this, and like, no, I didn't.
I guess I had to own it, but that I did the wrong thing because I got a lot of time to think how it led to that. And
of course,
got lucky a couple of times, and then it's just bound to happen if you're going down that path.
Yeah, you're rolling dice.
Yeah, you just roll, and got unlucky, and I lost the.
Yeah, but irrespective of that, I'm just like more about just waking up in that state where you're like, I'm going to jail.
I think
in
it only
fucking US.
Only people that get like a lot of people can't understand because they don't ever get that problem drinking. They don't black out or go that far. But if you have, you would understand the feeling of, you know, it's just there's nothing there. It's just empty. Like.
Yeah. I don't drink. I never drank, and I never been arrested. But I did recently go through some real bad anxiety, like fucking bad, real bad anxiety for a bunch of different reasons. And I thought I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
And you get to that point where you're like, fuck, I will give anything to change, to reverse it, to like anything. Yeah. That's the closest I can. It was bad. Like for me, I thought I was losing my mind.
I got one like that just recently. I didn't tell many people, but I was meant to go on an off season.
Speak on this because nobody watches.
That's all right.
That's parents.
Only my mum and dad are going to watch. So there was a big white guy they're talking about.
Does he play soccer?
He's a soccer player or something.
Nah, I guess that's another part. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing now and what I've done, and that's why I'm happy to share it because, you know, opinions and that don't bother me anymore. But yeah, I didn't experience like that. I can't explain it either, but we just finished the season. Booked me and my missus and baby a trip. We're going to go to Europe, and the flight was from Sydney. I flew from Brisbane to Sydney, and the night, like the flight was at like 6 a.m, and that night, about to fly out, I just had massive anxiety. Couldn't breathe. Like, didn't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it was related to traveling that far to America. Just did not know what it was. Couldn't breathe. Just toyed with it. Rang my dad. Rang this. I can't go. I'm gonna lose money. Didn't care. Just. At the time, I was trying to explain to my missus, I couldn't think of anything worse than going on that holiday. So, like, I think it got to 3 a.m. in the morning, and I just pulled the pin, rang up, cancelled the holiday. Didn't end up going.
Oh,
And the next-
really?
yeah. Then the next day I was like, oh, probably could have gone on it, but it's worked out. That's just a feeling I had. I didn't want to go. Obviously, some more work to do, and maybe I can go next year.
Fuck. But
But that was extreme anxiety. I couldn't breathe in that. It's just hard to explain the feeling. I don't know why it come about. It just did.
and did you have a history of anxiety related issues?
Oh, well, I guess maybe they that could have been a time where I might have just gone, nah, I'll just go relax and have a drink or something like that. But I'll come up with different ways to unwind, and I guess maybe that was just a bit of trauma from the last trip I went on that was that far from home. I just love being at home now and living day-to-day life.
Fuck, I would stay at home like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get over it one day. Go to Bali. I think I've been to Bali since. I think I just feel comfortable there because I've been there so many times. But
Are you allowed back in the US?
yeah, I'm allowed back now. I got no didn't end up getting any criminal charges and stuff like that. So took another year of good behaviour, and yeah, I'm all good to go back.
Oh, really? So no charges, nothing.
So I got a misdemeanor charge. I got all downgraded, but then I took another year of good behaviour, and they said, we'll wipe the charges for me, which is good for me.
Fuck.
Jeez.
That was very lucky. Very good.
Yeah, I got lucky over there. A couple of things could have gone the other way, but it's put me on a good path now.
And was there a stage where you were like, fuck, I could go away for 15 years?
Yeah, I was sitting there for like 3 months thinking that, and all I'd do every day was just...
Were you in jail when you were thinking that?
Nah, so I had a few weeks there. Then my dad paid some money to bail me out. Then I just had to rent an apartment. I was in Brooklyn and somewhere else, pretty expensive over there. So I was just training. I had to train morning, midday, night, just to keep me anxiety and that down and feel normal. But it was a long few months, and I got home on Christmas Day.
Fuck. How supportive were your folks over it?
Yeah, they're the best. That's probably the best thing for me. It's that's just narrowed down who's in my inner circle, my family and close friends and stuff like that. Once you leave a footy club or a team, there's not many people that will genuinely care about you and take an interest. It's probably related to a fight. You get injured, everyone says thanks, and then 3 months after, who's close when you're preparing for a fight. It's 8 months away. It's similar to that. Like,
Yeah.
you know who's in your corner and sticks around you, and that's a big thing for me. I'm comfortable with who's close to me and stuff now, and I just stick by them.
Fuck. And so how has that impacted that experience? Because I can't get over fucking the thing about waking up
Yeah,
and some people being locked up, like
yeah.
going from hospital. Oh, sorry, can you let him know that we're running a little bit late?
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, man, I can't get over that. And so how has that impacted your rugby league?
Yeah, I guess it's just made me more grateful for the opportunities that do come and the position I'm in. Like, I was throwing it away for a while there. Didn't appreciate what I had, and I would hit not a milestone. Do something that rewarding, and I just wouldn't care about it. There was no emotion or what I was doing, and yeah, it's made me a lot more grateful. And I guess in words, I don't have to be a pretender to fit in with other people. I'm just comfortable on the path I'm in, who's around me, what I'm doing, stuff like that.
So when that happened, you were with the Tigers?
Yeah, I was at the Tigers.
And then how'd you end up here?
So I got sacked from the Tigers immediately as soon as it happened. Then 2017, I met up with Wayne. I think it was 2016, I met up with Wayne Bennett in a hotel in Sydney. He pretty much just told me I'd already met with the Roosters and someone else to try and come back. And Wayne, I sat down with Wayne, and it was probably I was deciding still. And as soon as I met him, it was just Broncos was where I wanted to come. He just pretty much sat in front of me and said, if you're willing to work for it, I'll give you the opportunity to play first grade again. So 2017 came, I was still banned from the game, and I signed with Redcliffe Dolphins. It's an affiliate of the Broncos because I wasn't allowed to be in here. And I think it took half a year, and the NRL allowed me to train in at the Broncos, but still, say like yesterday's session, I'd be on the Bibs team, but no chance of playing. Just had to come in here and train, couldn't play. That was tough as well. And then 2017, end of that year, the NRL kept meeting with them. Had to do about a year and a half of rehab. Like, I stayed in one for 6 weeks. Kept doing it for a year. Got alcohol and drug tested every week for a year and a half off the NRL. And then eventually I met all their criteria and sat down with Todd, the CEO, and he said, we're going to give you a chance to come back into the game, like don't stuff it up pretty much. And then they registered me contract for 2018. So I think it took 3 years from when the incident happened to get allowed to come back onto the field.
Can I ask Gerald a question?
Yeah.
In relation, can you give him the mic? You were at Broncos when Matt was coming back?
Yeah, so I suppose I was still a part of the club. I wasn't playing anymore. I'd finished up, but I was around when Matt got the opportunity to come back to rugby league, and it was I didn't know how to. I don't know. I'd never met Lodgy before, but I suppose your first reaction is what you hear and what you've seen. So it wasn't all positive, but I'm a person who I suppose everyone deserves to resurrect themselves and get another chance. And I've seen what Lodgy had to go through while he's been here, and I can tell you what, kudos to him because he's come a long way. He's a top bloke, and the first thing you're always scared to meet someone for what's happened. But I've got nothing but good to say about him since he's been
How
here.
hard was the resurrection, so to speak? How hard was that to was it a lot to go through for him?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think the other thing was I've been a Bronco for a very long time now.
So you've said, because the reason I ask that is because you're one of the, if you can give your background real quick, just so people understand how long you've actually been here and the players you've seen come and go.
Well, I've been here 13 years now. I debuted in 2009. I played the inaugural under-20 side in 2008, and became a pretty good footy player very, very quickly, and then it was all over very, very quickly as well in the space of 4 years.
Can you explain how it was over?
Yeah, compound fracture of the ankle over in Perth against the Rabbitohs.
I saw a video just saw fucking footage of that. It's horrible.
It was pretty disgusting, but so that's sort of where my career was, without going too into depth into it. And I think the most scary thing was when someone comes in like this to your club. You're worried that they're going to ruin it. That's the first, that's your first initial thought. But then you get to meet someone like Lodgy, and he's nothing like what the papers say, what the media said, and I think that's what was, a breath of fresh air. And obviously with people like Whitey on his side as well, I think it pushed me to give him a chance as well, because like I said, I've been here for a very long time. I don't want someone coming here and ruining the club, because it's a beautiful club, it's a family club, and Lodgy is a part of that club now. He's a family man. He's got a little boy, and just to watch him develop since he come here, he was very shy, as you can imagine, because you got to meet all these new blokes who know what you've been through, and you've got to swing all their their personalities to make sure I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a bad person, and he's done that. And I think the best thing he's ever did is just let his footy talk. When he first came and played at the start of last year, and I don't know how he's done what he's done to get back, but I could never.
Because that's why I'm asking you,
Yeah.
from your perspective, because just from the small amount of dealings that I've had, I can't imagine that it would be fucking easy at all.
Nah,
right?
hell no. I mean, I've been through some times as well, very differently to Lodgy. I've had depression and everything like that, but I couldn't even imagine what he had to go through to get back where he is right now.
Because I want to put some perspective in this as well. Like, so was it 2009 you broke your ankle?
No, 2012. I broke it in 2012. I debuted in 2009. I'm at 19 years old.
And by the time you were 20 or 21, you were basically the best winger in the world.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd done everything possible to be the best I could be. And
At
then it was just
20 years old?
20 years old, yeah.
You're the best winger in the world. You're Kangaroo, Origin.
Indigenous All-Stars. I was doing everything I possibly could do in the game to be a footy player, yeah. And yeah, it was ripped away from me. And like I said, I don't know
What
how.
was that like for you?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was not a fun time in my life. But comparing it to Lodgy is probably, you can't compare it because they're two different kind of things, way
No,
different.
because people would look at you and like, even in a crass way, I suppose, feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
People would look at you and go, "Let's shoot this guy."
Yeah, well, there's
Fucking-
people there is people who are out there like that, but until you've met the bloke, honestly, you don't judge him. You know what I mean? Like he's been here for 3 years now, and he's done everything he possibly can to make sure that he is being able to have a second chance in life and do the thing he loves, which is playing footy, man. And there's a lot of boys here that if they got that taken away from them, they'd probably crumble under pressure. And
how close were you to crumbling? Like
yeah,
that?
very, very close.
Oh, because I would fucking.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that he would have found out about himself as well that he wouldn't have known about himself. How far you could go, your resilience and whatever. You know, there's so many things you can call it, but no one will ever know what you've gone through. Because you're the only person to do it, and you just got to be strong. There's no other way. My mum was a single mother. She didn't piss around she didn't beat around the bush. She's brought me up tough, and that's just the way it is. Don't be a sook drill. Just get on with your life. And I could imagine what Lodgy would have had to do to push through. He talks about his family, man. You guys would know. Family's everything. If you don't have people like that around you, you'd probably never become anything in the world. And if it wasn't for my mum, my brother and my grandparents, I wouldn't be anywhere. And I could imagine that's exactly how Lodgy would feel without his friends and his family.
Were you diagnosed with depression?
Yes, I was.
Were you diagnosed with anything like that? No? Nothing?
Yeah, I went to rehab for that and stuff like that. But
with depression as well?
Yeah, they say about anxiety. I just worked on it. I didn't get so diagnosed from it, but I think I guess a good thing for me that put my mind straight was from the moment I got in trouble from that next morning, everything I done was working towards getting back. Like I knew it would take a long time, but I was pretty focused on it. So that I just wanted to make up for it because put so much stress on family and stuff like that, and I can't play 15 however many games, and the last taste in people's mouth is, he's stuffed up in America. That's what his last name is,
Everyone stuffs that though,
Yeah.
Like everyone has a moment in their life where they go, well, why did I do that, or how did that happen? I don't care. Anyone can sit here and be watching this right now and talk about what Lodgy's done, blah blah blah. I think the bigger thing is how he's turned himself around to become who he is today, because there's not many people could do what he's done. And put his hat in the ring.
Why do you say that?
Oh, well, tell me another bloke that's been through what he's been through and has come back and playing first grade now. And probably, for me, arguably going to be on the cusp of playing for New South Wales in the next couple of years. I know he's very humble. He won't like to say that, but it's just the truth. He was our standout forward last year at the Broncos, and that's so hard to be there. You've got the likes of Petro Senesiva, Shane Webke, who have come through here. Like, You've got to be a good forward to be able to be in this side. So, yeah, Lodgy's doing everything possible, and he's a very good footy player.
Yeah, I'm just the darkness that must have been there after the incident to getting back to playing like in that amount of time and the amount of hoops you had to jump through and the preconceived notions everyone has of you already and just staying true to your guns and just believing that what you've done, which would have been so hard, so hard.
He could have just given up,
Honestly,
could have just given up.
It would have. I imagine there would have been several moments during that period where you've just been like, screw everyone. I just go.
I think I got a bit of I played A grade 2 years ago. I think just for my local team in Blacktown, that St. Pat's, and I got to play with all my mates again, and we made a grand final, and then so that brought a bit of even the crowd there was into me. They all knew what happened, and
even not the crowd just there. You should have heard. Like there was no one wanted to touch him. No one wanted to go near him. Like even at any game we'd go to last year, sometimes even our crowd. But you know what? It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, our crowd's good now.
Our crowd's great, and
Wayne was good in that time. He rang me like in the pre-season last year before I started, and just said, "Hey mate, you're starting round 1, no matter what happens. Get ready."
Imagine that. Imagine that feeling. You've just been through hell and back, and you get caught. You get called by one of the best coaches in the world.
Just had to get through the pre-season.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I don't hear him too much when I'm on the field, but that first 2 rounds, every time I touch the ball, the whole stadium just.
The funny thing is
booing you.
Yeah, loud as
bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad. One of the funny thing is actually like when I got to know Lodgy a lot more, man, I could just always remember him months before the game. He'd be like, "I'm fucking coming off that back fence, man. As soon as I get that ball, I'm just going to come off that back fence at Suncorp Stadium. I don't care who's running, who's going to tackle."
What do you
me."
mean? I don't.
So off the back fence just means you can't go back any further. You run up
It's a
like
kick-off.
you are going to
yes.
run as hard as you possibly can.
You
And
run
he
from
just
the
kept.
seats.
That's what I said. And obviously I work in media, and I wanted to talk about that a lot, but we didn't want to touch too
Didn't
much
know
on
if
it.
I was going to pull a handbrake.
Yeah. But he kept saying and saying, and he did it. And he's, you know what the funny thing is, it's been a year now. I can guarantee you, round one here against, when he plays Melbourne, he'll be fucking coming off the back fence again, because that's just the type of bloke he is. And yeah, we're very also very lucky to have him here at the Broncos.
Lucky in a way. I'll probably wide different when the crowd's billowing. I guess that makes you want to
Go
rip in a bit
better,
more.
Yeah.
Fuck you, someone.
It's true.
But
It is.
It is like that. Or some people, pull back a bit, but I love it.
Did when you got what was your road with depression like?
Oh yeah, it was pretty tough. But like I said, you just got to put good people around you, man. It's not even like this club was amazing. The fans here that I had, because I had such a good era, I suppose, of 4 years at the Broncos. The fans here were amazing. But just my teammates here, who are still in this team. I mean, Matt Gillette, Andrew McCullochs, who are still here. There's a lot of boys that have gone now, but if I didn't have friends like that around the club, because I was fighting demons every day just to get back on the field.
How bad are we talking about?
I'm stubborn. I'm talking, I'm at home crying in my bed, because I know in my head that I can't play professional rugby league again. But I'm stubborn so I'm gonna push as far as I can go, because I did never want to leave the game knowing that I didn't do everything possible to get back, and I got that opportunity to prove to myself, you've done everything possible now, Dra. It's, put a line through it, go live your life. The other thing I was scared of was having kids and not being able to run around with my kids and stuff like that if I had done another serious injury. So I was like, yeah, just call it quits. But I'd done everything possible. I'd done every single thing I could possibly do to play first grade again, and it just never was going to happen. And it pissed me off that I wasn't as good as I was as well when I was hurt. It really annoyed me, and Lodgy could disdain to that as well. Like, if you're not playing your best, it gets to you. And I physically couldn't. Mentally I wanted to, but I physically couldn't.
Had you seen him play?
Yeah, I was a kid when he was playing. He was probably
You were. I'm 30 this year. I'm getting old, bro.
He was the best ring in the game. I couldn't imagine. It's like, but I guess me going through that, it's hard to come to terms that there is other stuff than rugby league when you're stuck in it. But I guess it is only a little part, and one day probably wake up and won't feel like running into people for a living, and
No.
there's other things to do.
I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore, because have you seen the wingers out there these days? Fuck, man.
How big were you?
Oh, I was
I'm a big fella.
I was 105 kilos, and I was...
Because I remember
yeah.
watching you play, but you didn't look the way you look now. But
yeah, so I was just 105 kilo. I'm about 109 now, so I've put on a little bit. It's a bit more fat.
But you were young, like you were 105 kilos as a 19-year-old.
Yeah, I was 21 at my peak, so I was 105 kilos, and I was running 40s at like 4.75, so 40 metre sprints at 4.75. So it's fast, yeah.
As a kid growing up at school and that, were you
No, I was
fast?
small as.
No, but were you fast athletic?
Oh yeah, I was quick. Yeah, I was
Like
always quick.
how fast would you have run 100?
I'm a little Aboriginal kid. Of course, I'm fast. I got to run away from my mum, man. Like, she's trying to get me.
I didn't want to bring this up because I didn't want to make it racial, but there are some Aboriginal guys that aren't fast.
Yeah, well, they're the
Hey,
ones.
Dave. there are
true.
some Aboriginal guys not fast.
It's true. It is very true. But I was quick. I was athletic. I used to play soccer, cricket, a little bit of baseball when I was young. I don't know. I just athletic, and I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed playing sports. But then rugby league, you get to hit people, man. It's fun.
When you saw, were you aware of what had happened to him?
Yeah.
Did that, did you think of anything? Because at the time as well, you would have been young, so you would have been like fucking bulletproof as well.
Yeah, I guess you don't think of it then, but it's just it's hard to come to terms with seeing his one, or even Matt Gillette last year getting injured.
And neck, yeah.
Because sometimes before the game, you flick out of it quick, but you go, what if? Like some people get, serious back injuries or something, but you just got to flick the switch, and that's what you love doing, and you're playing it for free anyway, so just got to come out, and it is what it is.
And so now what's next for you? What happens moving forward?
Just got to back up last season. Don't be a one season wonder. So
He'll be fine. He's going to be fine. I think he's just got to stop thinking about it so much. Don't worry about it, you know.
Been good. Like this time last year, I had media people chasing me off the field with the camera, and I couldn't do anything. Like, so I've got to have a relaxed pre-season.
So much more relaxed.
Yeah.
So much more.
I can't imagine, because I remember when you came to train, when you came to train with us, and I read the thing, and I was like, fucking, like that was a lot of shit. Like I read all the stuff, that thing, and we were like, fuck.
And that's exactly what happens. Like I said
yeah,
before.
but you have to be a number to read it and go, oh, well, fucking.
That's why I'm happy to do this podcast, because you won't chop it into 60 parts and put all the bad pieces together. And then
Well, will they? No.
Now we might, yeah. Fucking anything for the views.
They either go extreme one way or the other. They either tell you're extremely bad or you're playing extremely good. There's no middle.
And that's the other thing about playing first grade, or even fighting. You know, Rob, like, you know, they either hate you or they love you. And two ways about it. Who cares what they think? Honestly, you know, all you've got to worry about is how you perform. And if you're playing the best you can play, they're all going to be on top of you. If you're playing shit, they're still always going to be on top of you.
Just doing your thing, you know, like just walking your path.
That's
all the media and guys will try and jump on your back and slam you for things you've done in your past, but only you are going to be there in the end, just walking it. So you
can always guarantee that they're going to always say something about Matt Lodge, about what's happened.
Still giving it to me.
On certain forums, I'm still gay.
Yeah,
probably.
There's a thing that he's.
What?
I've never heard that.
I've never heard that either.
No, you can't escape it. You just got to do you. And then, you know, your last year was amazing. Just go out there with that confidence that you're a good player, you're good at what you do.
And man, the most of all, anything, honestly, I always say to the boys, I've lost everything. Fuck, man, just enjoy it. Like it is what you've been doing what you've been dreaming of your whole life, you know. Man, just have fun and enjoy it, because if you lose that party, whatever you're doing, whether it's fighting, whether it's, you know, digging holes, whether it's playing footy, man, then why the fuck are you doing it?
Yeah, I had to dig some holes with my time off.
Yeah.
Hey, how sobering is it to go back to a real job and go, fuck, this is what, instead of playing football? I
said this the other day. I had the period in my life when I was at Tigers and I was earning real good money, and I was still unhappy. Like nothing in my life made me happy. And all that happened, and I went back to landscaping and digging holes with my mates and playing local footy on the weekend, and I was real happy. And then I'm back at the professional level, and it's easy to slip down again and get into that unhappy route. So it's not. I don't think it's the where you are or the wage.
What is it that you think, if you're playing football now, and where does that unhappiness stuff?
I think you can just get caught up in all the pressure and the media and them attacking your game, or your team not doing well, or, you know, we train that hard, it's so tense, and people start turning on each other, and sometimes it just creates an unhappy environment. So you just got to be, like I said, be comfortable in what you're doing, and if you have a bad game, you're still comfortable that you've done the work and you're going to keep going.
Well, don't be complacent as well. Like just be yourself and enjoy. Like just enjoy what you're doing. I mean, I can't explain how much you've got to enjoy it, because if you're turning on, be grateful as well. Like turn up every week. If you're whinging because you've got to train, fuck man, you could be digging holes. So shut your mouth. Like these boys whinge a lot. They do. I know, because I say it every week, man.
I'm known to whinge.
Yeah, but that's because sometimes you forget where you are. You know, you just got to embrace the moment. Like. If I could, I'd pay for no money again. If I could get my ankle back, I'd pay for no money just to enjoy that moment of running out in front of the crowd, scoring meat pies.
Yeah, that's the big one for me. Even when I negotiate contracts or something, I go back to when I was out and
100.
I would have played for free.
100%, man.
Yeah.
And that's what the other thing is. I know that people got to look after their families, but and that's a huge thing. It is. Money is. We have to have money.
You're not saying play for free. That's not what you're saying. You're saying. You would have played for free, and that's what you got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, go do something else for money.
100%. So that's what That's what I try to drill into the boys these days.
Because that's I always say that to Rob or to the others. Like even to myself, I say it because like I have a good gig, I have a good life, you know. And you think like, well, fuck. Sometimes you don't want to get up, you don't want to go to work because whatever, and you think, man, like,
you always excuses for yourself.
Dude, go change the portaloos for a day in the 48 degree
Hells
days.
no.
It's hard if you've never had a taste of it too. A lot of the boys come from year 12 straight into full-time
first
training.
grade.
Never had to do
I was
a day
a
on the
brickie.
shovel.
Was that you?
Yeah, I did that.
Was that you?
No, I was no
He's
way.
lying. He's never worked a day.
No, I was a bricky labourer and I was a chippy before I played footy. Like,
But didn't you debut at real young?
yeah, I did. But when I was 19, so I had 2 years of where I wasn't playing. Like, I wasn't in first grade or I wasn't in the system. I never was in any system when I was younger. So, but yes, I did.
So,
I was
so
a
you
brickie
never played rep footy or nothing?
when I was 12, when I first started, and then that was it.
And what happened between 12 and 17?
Everyone got bigger than me, man. I was so small.
And then how did you get discovered?
I don't know. I just played. No chance. No. I don't know. I just played Colts at Norse, and I played when I was 17. I played a few Queensland Cup games, which are like one below NRL.
Yeah, but how did you get discovered into that system?
I don't know, because I was okay at footy. I don't know. I just didn't. I wasn't outstanding. I just loved to play footy.
And then you grew.
And then you get put around really good footy players, and they sort of make you a bit better. And then you get a taste of it. Once you get a taste of it, man, it's fucking hard to lose it.
Yeah, but how did you did you just develop after you were 17, 18?
Pretty much. I was very
Tirana ball
small. Yeah, I was very small.
Decker, Drew Boland, and
I just know I got learned how to jump, catch a ball. My coach told me this all the time, and
because
this is the only
105
thing.
kilo, and you weren't
21.
small. Yeah,
No, well, I was 21, so I had to develop there. But we had some good trainers here at the club to get me there. But I got told 3 things. I wasn't a very smart winger when I played. I was very dumb, and I just did what I got told to. So my coach told me 3 things: catch the ball, run the ball, and score meat pies drill. So there were the 3 things I ever did when I played footy: was catch the ball, run the ball, and score tries. And that was the only thing I ever got told. And if he didn't tell me anything else, it wasn't complicated. It was simple. I'm a simple person in a good way, and that's all I got told. And that's where it was, because otherwise you can complicate this game so much. It's not complicated at all.
What about? I got a question for Rob. We we get to come out and play. You have a bad game,
Yeah.
you get to play in 7 days and silence people or whatever or something like
This
that.
would be hard.
Yeah, is it tough doing they're 6 months away? Like, I couldn't imagine focusing for that long, and then you get your half an hour or something goes wrong, Mako. It's hard to stay on track for the whole camp. Or
Yeah, and sometimes no matter what you do, you still have a bad night. You know, you can do everything right, and it's just not your night. You know, or the other guy was better, and there's nothing you can do about that. But it's hard. Like a lot of pressures to perform. It's quite real. Like, I imagine with you guys out there thinking about the anxiety of the new season, especially after what you've gone through, like trying to back it up and try to silence the haters, sort of thing. And then you're, without realizing, you're putting your own pressure to perform on yourself, and then the crowd's putting pressure on you. And it gets hard. Like with what happened with my last fight, having to pull out of that, like there are so many people talking shit.
100%.
Like, so many people.
and these are people that if they fucking
get in there, lads.
no, not even that. If they have a headache, won't go to work.
Yeah, hard.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking
Keyboard
about?
warriors, mate. They're keyboard warriors as well. Like, that's how it is. Yeah.
Or they have an upset belly, they go home early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's,
Thinking about that, actually, I better go.
no, and it's hard. It's hard to. I guess a huge thing that I do is you have to distance yourself away from it. You can't live in the media, in people's opinion, because it's gonna corrupt and decay and just it's gonna destroy you.
Or in that world, it's just fighters, like just other fighters, and you're just dealing with other fighters.
Yeah.
I got on the Nokia for the last 6 weeks.
What's that?
He
Got a
changed his
Nokia
phone to
phone.
his Nokia phone. We were ringing him. You know that old ringtone. You know the snake on your phone.
Yeah.
Nokia?
No internet,
The
no
brick.
social media, stuff like that.
He changed it up a little
I
bit.
did missed everything that was happening. I didn't hear a bad thing for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Good.
you have to.
You might have to get a
You
Nokia.
just have to separate yourself.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
do it. But you have to separate yourself from all that, and then just stay true to your guns. Like just do your thing. Like, luckily for me, I have a great team, great support network.
Yeah.
And you find that out the hard way sometimes, or sometimes it just organically builds around you. And I'm surrounded by great people. So like even not listening to the other guys, like my coaches will tell me what it is, how it is, and then we just stay true to our path. Like, we just do our thing. We walk on our journey.
The other thing, I think it's easier said than done, but you can't let the outcomes define you. So, like, you're a football player, a fighter, but you're so many other things. You're not just that.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hard. You don't get to play, and you're gonna go through that whole bullshit. But you can't let the outcome of a fight define who you are. You're gonna train as hard as you can. You're gonna go out there and fight. But there's so many dudes we see that they're fighting, and like they don't have like that separation from their identity as a fighter and as a human being, and they're very, very different things, man. Very, very different
Bro,
things.
from an outsider watching him, man. Like,
You ever get nervous?
Sorry?
You get nervous?
Before a fight,
Yeah.
terribly.
yeah.
I feel like in footy you get nervous, but you can build into it. You can get an early touch.
If you're in footy, all you have to do is take a run where you can't just walk and go, okay, I'm going to take a shot just to make it feel good. You know, just come on, just hit me once, please. You know, like you can't do that in fighting. So fight would be way different.
Behind the curtain, I'm thinking, what the fuck am I eating? Like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
But once you go out there and then all the bullshit happens and then everyone disappears and you're about to fight, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's like you have no control of what's going on.
You just know you're training and
you're either gonna fight or
Flight.
lose.
Fight or flight. Yeah.
That's it. Like they're your only two options when that door shuts.
Yeah.
It's like fight or quit.
I was gonna ask because there's two things like you. So you're a winger and you're a prop. In terms of pressure, yours is extremely physical. Like you can't let the other dude put it over you. Your opposing.
Yeah, we make tackles.
I score meat pies.
No.
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Yeah, ours is more physical, but his is like high bombs and
I
that.
reckon
Yeah,
it's
because
mentally.
what I was going to ask you was, you deal with the pressure of the hits and the people, like a very real physical presence, very real physical pressure. Do you feel? Because I've been in the change rooms when we were Souths and a couple other teams, and it's almost the same as if you're going to go have a fight.
Yeah.
Do you feel that pressure? Do you feel fear? Do you feel you're scared of the opposition?
No, I think you just you can tell the difference when you're on. You're like, it's more like not a nervous energy, but like competitive or something. You need to be. If you go out like half-hearted, that's when they just start rolling through you. So you do have to try and flick the switch. I remember my old coach Wayne said that I need to come to the game. I used to say wide up, like aggressive. That's when I play the best. But that's probably a bit different too. The playmakers need to be composed or calm.
Yeah, that's because that's what I was going to ask you. For you, you might be out there for, say, if it's cold and.
Oh man, we could not touch. We could honestly, and not on purpose. These days, you have to touch the ball as many times as possible if you're a winger. But if you don't have that opportunity, if they keep going right side, say I'm a right side winger, but if they keep going down the other side, keep kicking down that side, I've got to go look for it. But if I can't get there, then I could go 15 minutes without touching the ball. And
let's say you go
it's hard.
5 in a cold,
it's still
rainy, etc.
It would do my head in. But I just know that I have to get there. I'm like, no matter what I do, I've just got to get to the ball.
How hard is it to catch it if they put up big bombs and you haven't done anything for 5 minutes?
It's tough.
It is, yeah, because you feel like you're switched off. If you don't keep up, if you don't talk, like my centre was Hodjo, so Justin Hodges. So, man, he talked a lot, but he also sprayed me a lot. So, I had to be on my game all the time. I had to make sure I was talking to whoever's. Also, I had a great right side. Like I had Darren Lockyer, Sam Thaiday inside me as well. So,
Helps.
yeah, it helps.
Handy to have.
It helps like that, because they're always like, go do your job. So yeah, if you haven't touched the ball in a while, you could easily just fuck up. You could drop it very easily, and then
And we'll spray them because we've been
because they've been tackling and
mate.
busting their ass, and we drop the ball on the line. So yeah, I mean, it's practice, man.
Yeah,
You
but
just
how
gotta
hard is it? Let's say you fuck up like that, and then Matt fucking has a go,
sprays you, yeah.
and then how hard is it for you to fucking switch back on?
No, it's not. All I got to do is score a full-length try. They're fine with it. I used to love doing the shit the hard way. Honestly, I didn't like it doing it the easy way.
They're getting better. They're bringing in like sports psychologists and that now to help people just like flick just leave it, because some people dwell on it.
I used to, if I dropped the ball, I early in my career, my first year, I'd be like, man, I'd stress out hard. But then after the first year, I was just like, oh, it's over. Just do something. You got to do something,
Get a
Dryden.
quick touch again.
You got to do something like do something good, like do something freakish, so everyone loves you again. I was always that kid who was like, oh, I have to be loved in the side. I want to be loved. I want to love my mates. I want my mates to love me. So I'd always try to do things that were outstanding, so they did like me, and they wanted me to play in the team. Because I think the biggest thing as a footy player, you don't want to your other mates. You want to look to the side of you and go, fuck, I know he's got my back. I know he's got my back. I know he's going to do something for me today. I never wanted a teammate to look at me and go, look at this piece of shit. Like, he's going to do nothing today. You know, that's just how it was. So I wanted my teammates to look at me, and I still remember my first Origin. Darren Lockyer going, why are you here? And I was like, I don't know. He goes, why are you here? And I was like, I don't know. He goes, Drell, you got the X factor. You scored tries. He goes, don't change anything. What you're going to do? Go out there and score tries. And I was like, okay.
What was it playing with people like Lockyer?
Mad. It's awesome. I can't. There's no words to it. He's the best. He's one of the best to ever play in the game. So he made my job a lot easier. But he was always very helping. He's a great leader. He doesn't talk much, but you just follow him. You just follow him.
Boys, we've run out of time. Sorry to end so abruptly.
No,
thank you
good.
so much. Matt, thank you for sharing that. I know that it wasn't.
Thanks for letting me
an
make
easy
a
thing.
cameo.
Mate, you might make another one, actually.
How good's life?
No, thank you very much, guys. Thanks.
Pleasure.
Thank you, boys, for your time.
Thanks, lads. Thanks.